Picture this. It's 2008. You just spent hours fighting through the Pacific and storming Berlin.
Usually do.
Alright, chums up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
In one of the best campaigns COD has ever made. You plant the Soviet flag in Reichstag, the credits roll, and you're about to turn off the console. But something keeps you sitting there. Maybe it's curiosity, maybe you're just too lazy to grab the remote. And then the screen fades. You're on the ground, and something's moving, and then it starts sprinting at you.
What the hell is even that?
Screen fades. You're not a soldier anymore. You're in a bombed out bunker. Something is moving out there, but it's not human. No tutorial, no explanation. No one told you this was here. You just beat the campaign, and the game pretty much just says congratulations.
Congratulations!
This is how COD Zombies was born, not with a press conference or a trailer or a marketing campaign. It was born as a secret, and the map that started the entire thing is what we're talking about today, Nacht der Untoten.
Yeah! Cheats are all over the place! Come on, give them hell! Fire! Take their heads off! Stay down! Cheats are right behind you! That's it! Keep firing!
Before we get into the map itself, I kind of want to talk about how this thing has ever happened, because Nacht der Untoten was never supposed to exist to begin with. During the development of World at War, a designer named Jesse Schneider started working on a side project during his lunch breaks. No dedicated budget, no dedicated team, no voice actors, just a handful of developers messing around with the concept because they thought it'd be fun. The original idea wasn't even zombies. One of the earliest concepts we have, playing as a German soldier defending a bunker on D-Day against waves of Allied troops until you got overrun. Obviously, that concept changed, but the core idea stuck. Defend a location against a wave of enemies until you inevitably die. The team built it, Treyarch decided to include it as a hidden reward after the campaign, and nobody outside the studio knew it was there until the game launched on November 11, 2008. The crazy part is that this side project made during lunch breaks would go on to become one of the biggest game modes in Call of Duty's history. Jesse Schneider actually left Treyarch right after World at War shipped. He created the foundation of something that's been going on for almost 18 years now.
Yeah!
So let's talk about the actual map. And I want to be upfront about something. If you watch my channel, you know I put Nacht in my top 5 most overrated maps, and I stand by that. Overrated doesn't mean being bad. It means people put it on a pedestal that the actual gameplay doesn't support. I can respect what Nacht did for the franchise while also being honest about its problem. Nacht der Untoten translates to Night of the Undead in German. It's a direct reference to George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, which is basically the movie that invented modern zombies. That connection isn't just in the name either. The gameplay on Nacht feels like those old zombie movies. You're trapped in a small building, boarding up windows, trying to survive against an overwhelming horde with limited supplies. It's a zombie survival horror movie turned into a game. The map is set in an abandoned German airfield, Element 115, which is what causes the zombie outbreak. We obviously didn't know about these details until later maps, but at the time, it was pretty cool. 4 unnamed Marines survive the crash and hold out as long as they can. That's it. That's the whole story. No Richthofen, no grand plan, no multiverse nonsense, just 4 guys stuck in a bunker trying not to die. That simplicity is both the best and worst thing about this map.
Yeah!
The atmosphere on this map is unmatched. I know that sounds like a strong statement when we've had maps like Mob of the Dead and Zetsubo no Shima, but hear me out. Those maps have great atmosphere with gameplay features that distract you from it. Nacht has nothing to distract you. There's no perk machines humming, no pack-a-punch glowing, no quest markers pulling your attention. It's just you, the bunker, and the sounds of things trying to get inside. The zombie sounds on the original World at War version are different than from every other map in the franchise. They don't sound like the zombies you hear in BO3 or BO6. They sound animalistic, like low growls, guttling noises, almost like barking.
My dogs are barking.
Developers were experimenting, and the results is generally unsettling. If you go back and play the World at War version after playing Modern Zombies, it hits different. The fog outside limits what you can see, the bunker is gray and destroyed, even the moonlight feels less like a light source, and more like something is watching you. Every visual element reinforces one feeling. You are alone, and you're not getting out of here. Now here's what Nacht also does really well, that I think Modern Zombies have kind of lost. Progression. When you load in a knock, you have a pistol and nothing else. Every point matters. Every bullet matters. Do you buy the Car 98 off the wall for 200 points, or do you save for the door? Do you open the help room door or the stairs first? These decisions feel important because resources are so limited. You'll work away from a pistol to wall weapons to eventually the mystery box, and when you finally open the box for the first time and it gives you an MG or the ray gun, the moment of relief is genuine. You earn that weapon. Modern Zombies hands you a loadout weapon, a field upgrade, and access to everything within the first 5 rounds.
Come on, man! That's too easy!
Nox makes you fight for every single upgrade. The mystery box is the only way to get a powerful weapon on the map. There's no buildable wonder weapon, no quest complete, just 950 points and whatever the box decides to give you. Sometimes it's a ray gun, sometimes it's a launcher, sometimes it's trash. That random list was part of the experience. You had to adapt whatever you got. And speaking of the ray gun, this is where it was introduced, the single most iconic weapon in Zombies history.
Oh my god!
It's been in pretty much every single game since then. It has memes, everyone knows the ray gun, and it started right here on Nacht. But even the ray gun isn't a safety net on this map. The splash damage in World at War is brutal. One shot too close to your feet and your game is over because there's no juggernaut to absorb the hit. You have base health and that's it. The ray gun rewards skill and punishes carelessness. That's what a wonder weapon should do. Yeah! Now here's where I have to be honest, and this is why I put it in my overrated list video. Nacht's biggest problem is that everything I just praised about, the atmosphere, the tension, the survival feeling, only lasts about 15 to 20 rounds. After that, you've done everything the map has to offer. There are no perks, no pack-a-punch, no Easter egg, no side quests, no objectives besides surviving. Pretty good for just being simple, and simple sometimes means better. It's just after a while, there's nothing left to chase. The early rounds are tense and exciting, and everything after that is just repeating the same loop with just stronger zombies. The map is 3 rooms, that's it. The starting room, the help room, and the upstairs. You can practically see the entire playable area from one spot. There's nowhere to go and nothing new to discover. For a quick 20-round game, that's fine. But when people try to put Nacht in their top 10 maps of all time, that's where I push back. It doesn't have the depth or replayability to compete with the maps that give you hours of content. The lack of perks also means there's no room for error. Get hit twice at any round and your solo game is over.
Game over, man! It's game over!
No juggernaut, no quick revive, no second chances. That's great for hardcore players who want a challenge, but for the average player, dying to 2 hits on round 25 because there's literally no way to increase your health isn't fun difficulty. It's a limitation of the map not having a system that hasn't been invented yet. Especially with the sticky zombies of World at War, this is even harder. And training zombies, good luck. The hallways are so tight that getting a proper train going is almost impossible unless you really know what you're doing. The map was designed as a tower defense experience, not a training experience. You're supposed to board windows, camp in corners, and hold positions. That works for the early rounds, but does fall apart once the zombie count overwhelms your corner. I also want to point out something that people don't talk about enough. The sniper cabinet upstairs costs 1,500 points and gives you a scope Car 98K. In a map with tight hallways and close quarters combat, a sniper rifle.
Know your fucking place, trash.
The developers put it there because they designed the map like a tower defense game where you be sniping zombies from the upper floor as they approach the building. Cool concept in theory, terrible weapon for the actual gameplay most people experience. Yeah! One thing that's undeniable is how important this map is to Treyarch and Call of Duty as a franchise. They keep bringing it back. Nacht has been referenced, remade, or included in more games than any other map in the franchise. The original World at War version, then it got ported to Black Ops 1 in the Resurrection DLC with Meal Kick added. In BO2, you can find the actual Nacht building inside transits. You're able to go inside a little bit of it.
That's what she said!
In Black Ops 3, it's the center hub of Revelations. Nacht is literally the center of everything. It also got a full Zombies Chronicle remaster in BO3 with updated graphics and all the modern mechanics. Cold War, the bunker from Nacht, is in the starting area for D Machine. You literally spawn right outside Nacht der Untoten. You can go inside the building. And in Forsaken, there's a playable arcade version of Nacht. Both the players and the developers recognize that this map is a classic. And I agree, it is a classic. It's just a classic that people put too high on their rankings list. There's a difference between respecting what something started and pretending it holds up against maps with 18 years of development evolution. Yeah! Here's where I'm gonna get real for it. Nacht wasn't my first Zombies map.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
BO1 was my first game, and Kino was my introduction to the mode. By the time I went back and played Nacht, I already experienced maps with perks, pack-a-punch, and Easter eggs. So playing Nacht for the first time didn't hit me the way it hit someone in 2008 who's never seen zombies before. And I think that's the divide. People who's played Nacht first have an emotional connection to it that goes beyond just the gameplay. It was their introduction to an entire mode that would become a massive part of gaming. For those people, Nacht isn't just a map, it's a memory. And I respect that completely. But for someone like me who came in later, Nacht is a cool piece of history that I appreciate without having the nostalgia goggles. And I look at it honestly, stripped of nostalgia, it's a map that does atmosphere and tension better than almost anything in the franchise, but runs out of content faster than almost everything too. Here's what I'll say in closing. Nacht der Untoten is the most important map in Call of Duty Zombies history. Not the best, not the worst, the most important. That's the difference. Without Nacht, there's no Varrock, no Derice, no Kino, no Mob of the Dead, no Origins, no Horizon Jack, no BO6, no BO7. Everything we love about zombies exists because of a handful of developers built a side project during their lunch breaks and hit it at the end of a campaign. That's wild. The concept that Nacht introduced, the point system, wall buys, the mystery box, power-ups, the ray gun, are still in almost every zombie game almost 18 years later. The foundation was that strong. Treyarch has gone on and added perks, pack-a-punch, Easter eggs, boss fights, storylines, and entire universes on top of that foundation. But the core is still not. So is it overrated? Yeah. As a map, I think it is. But as a moment in gaming history, as the birth of one of the most beloved game modes ever made, it's impossible to overrate that. Nacht der Untoten set the foundation for what would become the best side mode in Call of Duty's history. And while future maps would expand on everything it started, this dark little bunker understood something that zombies has always been about at its root. Giving players something to survive, something to chase, and something to earn. For a map that was never supposed to exist, built by developers during their lunch break with no budget and no advertising, that's a pretty incredible legacy.